Iain, it's 5 minutes with you. I'm going to put the battery in. Please, will you count us down once it's in?
Okay.
Here we go. There we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Just at the very beginning, we need to establish one thing. Why two names? Why Iain Banks and why Iain M Banks?
I blame my uncles. I put the Wasp Factory in the very first book, What I Got published, and it was Iain M Banks on it, the mainstream novel. And we took it out because my editor thought it looked a bit fussy. And also because he thought people might get confused with the fictitious, bad romantic novelist in the Woodhouse novels, Rosie M Banks. So out it came. I wasn't bothered in the least. And then later on, a few months later, I got what I can only describe as avuncular disapproval. A couple of my uncles came up and said, "What do you take the M out your name for? Are you ashamed to be among us, or what? For that is how we speak in Fife." And so I thought, I'll put it back in. I couldn't put it back in sort of gratuitously for the next mainstream novel, so I thought, when we started doing the science fiction, I'll put it back in. And it actually looks kind of slightly more American somehow. I was thinking of being Iain M Banks III at one point, because it's a kind of transatlantic phenomenon in science fiction, so it seems to have more fitting, so that's how the M got put back in.
That is a long and very articulate answer.
It took a minute. That's pretty good, almost to the second.
Just tell me how difficult it was for you to get published in the first place.
Quite difficult. It took me about 1 million words and 5, 6 novels before finally doing it. There is a theory that says you have to write 1 million words of rubbish before you get published, unless you're really clever. My pal Ken MacLeod, he's clever. He got his very first novel published, which is cheating, I think.
You talk about the Wasp Factory. I'm reading it at the moment. There's some pretty dark stuff so far. When you're writing about dark material, is it in any way strange writing in the first person?
Not really, no. It's just it's a technique. It's something you get used to as a writer. You don't really think about it. You just get on with it. It's an answer to a technical problem, if you like, and so it's something you adopt, quite naturally and easily. It has no real, sort of bearing on your own psyche, as it were.
I know that when you ask an actor, are you a baddie in real life? Of course they're not baddies in real life, but there's, as I say, some dark stuff. Where does that come from? What do you draw on?
I don't know, I've just got an overactive imagination gland or something. I've just invented a bit of physiology there. It's just something I seem to be able to tap. Now, I'm actually quite a nice, bright and breezy person, I've never really been in a fight in my life, so far, 58 years in, counting. I honestly really don't know. It just seems to be in there. I think we should all be happy that it's on the page rather than in reality, put it that way. So maybe it's a kind of therapy for me.
And Iain M Banks, you've written another sci-fi novel, The Hydrogen Sonata. What is the point of science fiction writing?
My theory is it's the most important genre, and I include mainstream as a genre, because it's the only genre that is absolutely concerned, basically, with the effects of technological and scientific change on human beings, and human society, and human individuals. Nothing else can tackle that. In the old days, that didn't matter, because you tended to die in the same society you were born in. Nowadays, society changes around us so quickly that we need a literature that talks to exactly that problem.
Should we be looking for 2 levels to your books?
A lot more than that. 2 levels. Let's be a bit more ambitious. I think you can look for as many as you like. Some might actually be there as well. But the thing is, everyone reads a different novel in a sense. No one reads exactly the same thing. We all see the same film, we see the same images, but with a novel you have to make up your own images, and you also make up your own meaning, as it were. So if you can find more levels than one in my novels, that's fine and dandy by me.
But do you set out with a message sometimes? And if you do, which comes first, the plot or the message?
If I set out with a message, I'm not really... There might be a subconscious message, put it that way, not really a deliberate one as such. There is a kind of didactic purpose in the whole culture series, the science fiction stuff. The plot comes first. I like my plot, I like story. I'm quite a sucker for a surprise ending, actually, as well.
In the science fiction writing, you talk a bit about, or you write quite a lot about, actually, I think, modifications to the human body. How would you modify your body?
Where to start? I think I'd have a slightly shorter back, because backs have always been a problem amongst the males in our family. We get slip discs and so on, and slightly longer legs. That's just to start. I mean, there's a long list. In fact, 5 minutes isn't going to cover it, frankly.
What are your interests outside of work?
Music making. I like composing music. I've got a sort of music processing thing and a very smart computer that does a lot of the work for me. A thing called quantization. It's like spell checking for idiots that can't write music properly. And I do hill walking. Well, glen walking, which is like valley walking. So it's like hill walking, but not quite as strenuous or arduous.
Am I right that your mother was a professional ice skater?
Yes, she was in the chorus line of an ice show that toured around the country just after the Second World War. Yeah.
Did you ever watch her perform?
No. Well, not perform. No, not professionally, as it were. Sadly, I never got the chance.
And do you ice skate yourself?
I did try. I got as far as trying hard to skate backwards. Never quite made it.
Are you part of the literati set, whatever that is, drinks, parties, festivals, or are you a bit of an outsider?
Definitely an outsider. For a start, I live in Scotland, in Fife.
I'm sure there are plenty of Scots who wouldn't see living in Scotland as being an outsider. There's so many more questions I want to ask. It's completely unfair. Can we come back and do 10 minutes one day?
I don't see why not, yeah.
Very good to see you.
Thank you. Cheers.